In this video, we are going to cover an easy way to put a zip into a denim skirt. Also how to unpick the easy way and tricks with the sewing machine. Stay to the end where I'll show you how to shorten a metal zip to fit. Hi, welcome to Sewing with Louise. If you're wanting to learn to sew and get that professional look, remember to subscribe and like. Now let's get started. First, I always make sure the zip is at least 1 inch bigger. Use a rotary cutter. Hold it like a pencil. Pull it towards you. Keep your fabric tight. I am wrapping my little finger around the fabric. That just makes it easier for unpicking. While you're unpicking, notice how it is sewn together. Now unpick till the whole zip is out. Remember to look at how it is sewn at the top. That is very crucial. Each one will have a different way of putting it together. So I always keep an eye open on how it is sewn. Now, if you are new to using a rotary cutter, the best is to use the small 28mm. Unfortunately, my blade was a bit blunt, so I'm using the 45mm. They are not expensive, and I'll put a link below where you can get them. Best is to have both sizes, 28mm and 45. I'm not rushing the top. I'm looking at how it is put together and understanding how it's assembled. It's quite crucial when you come to the end when you're sewing it back together. If you're worried that you will forget how it's put together, take a photo with your phone. I'm just checking where the zip lands, so when I sew the other zip together, I know where to place it when I'm sewing it. The new zip was about 1 inch bigger when we started, but now it's only ½ inch bigger. That is why I always buy a zip at least 1 inch bigger. You can always make the zip shorter, but you cannot make it longer, no matter how hard you try. Let's put the zip in first. Remove all the cotton bits. You'll find pressing the skirt makes it easier to remove the cotton. I will be doing a workshop on pressing and ironing as they mean two different things. But for now it's not crucial. If you notice, I'm starting from the bottom. Make sure that the metal bit is not where I'm going to sew. Don't want to break a needle. Always put your pins sideways, not lengthways. That's because it is easier to pull out when sewing and you don't break needles. Also, do you notice that the zip now fits? So the lesson is always have a longer zip. I know from years of experience. Why it happens, that I'll have to explain in another workshop, maybe at the same time as when I'm explaining about ironing and pressing. So if you want more, remember to subscribe and ring that bell. I'm only pinning the one side of the fabric. I'm not bending it over and pinning through both. Reason is that the first row of stitching is to hold the zip in place. Now the other side I start up at the top, checking that the seams on the right side match. Putting the pins where the seams are so that they do not move, so when I've sewn them they are straight and level. Pin right down to the bottom. If you want you can tack here, but I find that the pins hold it just fine. Now turn it the right way, check that the seams match. If they don't, just repin in that area so that they do match. Now to match the cotton. I'm mixing a beige and a white together. I've put the two together and twisted it and checked that it matches, and it matches really well. You'd be surprised what colours you put together that can match. You can do this for jeans as well. When you're doing the hem, because you need a thicker cotton, you can use two colours to match it closer. Thread both cottons through the top, not on the bottom bobbin. That tension you don't want to fiddle with. Loosen the top tension only slightly. I know, it's not pinned here, just to have it working in alterations for so long. I don't even know why I took the pins out. But if you are a beginner, follow your pins. Make sure that the zippers are on top, otherwise you will find that the zip will gather and not lie nice and flat. Make sure your stitches, because you are doing denim, that they are on the biggest that you can get. Match it nicely with what's been sewn around. I then fold it over and pin flat. If you notice, I am matching the seams and pinning. Even with my experience, I always pin the other side. Remember, pin sideways, not lengthways. You don't want them getting caught in the sewing machine. Check before sewing that the seams match and don't sew too close to the zip. I used a very narrow foot. If you have a machine that the needle moves across and don't have a thin foot, move the needle to the left hand side as far as you can get it without it hitting the foot. Now sew the other side all the way down to the bottom of the zip, as I've done here. Remember, this stitch is just to hold the zip in place, so when you do the top stitch, it won't move. You might see my hand going up. That is because I have a wide elastic attached to the machine, so I don't have to keep on finding my pin cushion. Just a handy tip. Now turn it over and check that all the seams match. Finish the top how it was before. If you've taken a photograph, have a look. Mine was just tucked under and sewn on the top with a top stitch. So what I'm doing is folding it over, tucking it in, as you can see there, pinning it, and then I will sew. Now, if you had a machine that you moved your needle, put the needle into the center and sew down. This is your top stitch. Now go a little bit steady when you're going over the heavy seams and start from the top, work yourself all the way round till you get to the other end. When turning, always make sure your needle is down. That way then you're not trying to line it up again. Be careful of the metal bar at the bottom, so make sure your needle's going to miss it. When I'm doing the other side, I always zip the zip up so that I know that the seams are matching. When sewing denim, use a denim needle. They're different to ballpoint needles, as denim needles cut the fabric. It does not push the fabric out the way, which is what the ballpoint needle does. The ballpoint needle is a round and the denim is a sharp point. And there we are. Your denim zip is in your skirt. Here is promises how to shorten a metal zip. It is best to shorten after it is sewn in the garment. You will then get the right size. If you cannot do that, mark or make a mental note. If you take off 5 off the one side, take off 5 on the other. Always make sure it's even. So here we are. This is how we do it. Get yourself some side cutters. Clip the tooth, each tooth separately, as you can see I'm doing here now. You just cut them off. Sometimes they come off easily, sometimes not so easily. When doing the stopper, which is right at the top, take it off carefully because you are going to reuse it. You can buy the stoppers separately, or the old zip that you took off. If you have damaged it, you can reuse that one as well. The stopper, as its name, is to stop the sliders sliding off, so it is slightly a bit bigger than the other teeth. Now the stopper you took off very carefully without breaking. You now put it back onto the zip where you want it to finish and squeeze it on nice and firmly and tightly. You don't want it flipping off. If you find that you have broken it, use your old zip or order some on eBay. They're not that expensive. Cut your excess fabric off, but leave at least half an inch no less. Remember to like and subscribe. If there is anything you are wanting to learn, please leave a comment below and I'll try and cover it in a video for you. Okay, have a great day. Stay safe.